Welcome back to the Standard Show. We've got a wild one today. Check out this Kevin Samuels clip, then I'll break it down right after.
Hello.
Hello, how you doing, Mr. Samuels?
Hi, well, how old are you?
I'm 28.
What's your first name?
Oki. It's short for Okechukwu.
Okay, well, what are women getting wrong?
Um, Women are. First of all, I just want to say I love your show. Been watching you since January, and you're doing God's work out here.
Appreciate it.
What women are doing wrong is I feel like a lot of women are impatient. So basically, women want a man to have it now. Everything women don't want to like wait or build with a man. They kind of just want the man to do all the hard work on his own, and then they kind of just want the benefits. So I feel like if women can just kind of just be patient and like learn to build with a man.
What does
Like
be patient mean?
being patient is basically, I think women should value a man off of potential. So like, let's say,
Hold on, hold on. I want to be clear. Women should value a man off of potential. How do you evaluate potential?
like visual potential. So basically, let's say if a woman's dating uh, a five-star recruit high school basketball player, but he's not in the NBA yet.
Yeah, well, I don't care about all that. I talk about regular men. I'm
Okay,
talking
well,
about.
let's say she's dating the valedictorian for the high school, and he got a scholarship to Harvard, but he's not making money yet. Like that's what I mean, like date on potential.
So,
And a lot of women,
if you were a father, you condone turning your daughter over to a man strictly on potential.
if it's valid potential, then yes.
No, potential is potential. You don't know if it's valid until it becomes outcome. Your baby girl that you've raised, you protected, you've kept chaste, you kept her off the stripper pole. You turn her over to a man based strictly on his potential.
Yes, if it's valid potential, then yes.
Again, so give us valid potential.
For
See what
example,
I'm see what I mean is guys are often we'll often say women need to be more patient. I agree. But when you say that they need to evaluate men off of potential, I'm listening. But you got to give some assurances. Potential offers no assurances. How do you make, you say valid potential? Well, how do you validate something that comes with no assurances?
that's what I'm saying. Like a high value man has to start out from somewhere. So women have to be able to see that before he becomes high value. And I feel if a lot of women did that, a lot of women can get these guys that they actually want instead of trying to get them when they're already high value and their standards are really high. I'll give you an example. With me, I'm 28. I'm in my last year of medical school. I'll be a physician, anesthesiologist next year. So a lot of women actually are valuing me because they see that okay, he's in his last year of medical school. He has good board score. He's smart. So I can see that he's going to be a high value man. So
No, well, high earning man.
I, well,
I make a distinction between high value and high earning. Those aren't the same. Go
okay,
ahead. Go
true.
ahead.
So um, the high value part can come. I understand. Yeah, you're the the six
There are a lot of
subtypes.
guys that make money who are not very valuable. But you're still saying that women should evaluate on the man of potential. Okay, but you got to give some parameters. All potential, because okay, um, are you from? If you're familiar with the oil industry,
A little bit.
where okay, well, oil is found in certain places throughout the country. Just because you go drill for oil in Texas, because there's oil adjacent to the land, doesn't mean you're going to hit. But you still got to invest money. You got to be able to define potential. Okay, a guy who's going to medical school, going to become an anesthesiologist. All right, but that's a very small subset of men.
It is. So what about a woman that basically
I'm not disagreeing with being more patient and evaluating on potential. But the problem I have with potential is women could easily flip it up and say, I'm 300 pounds, but I'm working out now. You should marry me on the potential that I'm going to lose weight.
That is true, but it has to be valid potential. So I have to see her in the gym. I have to see her in strict diet. I have to see. I'm not saying that I would date a woman like that, but I'm
So
saying
are most okay? So if a man becomes a doctor, all right, that means he makes good money. What about the man he is though? I mean, see, there's more to potential than just money. And see, what I'm trying to get you to understand is not trying to make every guy be you. You got to understand the market. How are you selling your potential? Because here's the problem I have with a lot of guys today. A lot of guys today think just because I make money, I should have all the options. Because I'm more educated, because I have these degrees, I should have all the options. That ain't how it works. You still got to sell yourself. I run into more upset, angry, frustrated guys who are STEM guys because they may be accomplished in their career fields, but they lack EQ, social skills, the ability to actually interact and get along in the social setting. But then they lament women, but they want women to pick up them on their potential.
that's true. But that
So, so
that goes
just
into
like women need to, so if you want women to be patient, fair, but I want you to ask about if this is your daughter, a man's potential. If he's a young man, yeah. So here's the thing: you're 60 years old, 55, 60 years old. Your daughter is coming to you as a graduate from college, and she finds a guy who is 2 years older than her, and he is planning on going to medical school to become a surgeon. Okay, but he still has many more years of schooling left. Then there's a 40-year-old man who's already established in his career, already the quote unquote high earning man, has the resume. Which one are you going to suggest your daughter go to? The guy that's 2 years older or the guy that's 17 years older?
that's a very difficult question
Why?
because it varies. It varies on her preferences as well.
No, it's about potential. Who has the greater potential?
Not sure. Well,
One guy has potential, one guy has outcomes.
mhm.
But see, you're stuck on an age. But see, women have to make choices based upon men who can actually deliver on more than just potential, because you would not want your daughter to be with somebody who was not secure, rich or not. He needs to be at least be secure.
Mm.
So when you waver on that 17-year argument, why? What's the problem with age gap dating?
Well, that just kind of gives you like a bimodal distribution. So all the young guys are going to be lacking quality women, and all the older guys are going to be having all the quality women.
So that's how
So
the
it's
world. That's how the world. Well, like it or not, that's how it is anyway. Okay, outside of our country, age gap dating is far more the norm. They think we're weird here for having young men who are all potential dating women who are at the height of uh, their ability. If you've listened to any women that call in from South America, Brazil, Argentina, um, the, the norm is dating men who are older. See, what we're trying to do is we're trying to make your potential and a young woman's potential be the same thing. And your potential is higher later. Hers is now. She needs to sell to the highest bidder now.
but I don't think it has to be black and white. Like it could be like a gray area, like based on how far the person is. It doesn't have to be. It's the difference between your first year in medical school and your last year in medical school. You're about to graduate. If he just started, then maybe yeah. You know, maybe choose the older guy that's already established. But if he's
So the
his
problem, you
last
see,
year
no.
and
So the ultimate problem is what life comes down to being very black and white. You can only pick one person. So I'm asking you about potential, and you're telling women to make a choice off potential, but you see how you're having a difficult time defining that. Basically, you're saying they should marry men like me.
they should have valid potential though, valid potential. Like
But okay, valid potential means what? Valid to whom? Just because
to
you graduate medical school does
the
not hold up.
majority.
Okay, just because you could graduate medical school, right? Does that guarantee you're going to become an anesthesiologist and become financially stable? You still got to pass medical boards and stuff, right?
Yes, you do, but that's what I'm saying.
So if you're a woman, one man is already established. You see, this is why I need you guys to understand the choices we're asking women to make. One guy is established and has the outcome. Another guy has potential. Man, come on, be reasonable. You know that it would be a smarter thing to take the guy who already has the outcome.
Yeah, I
And here's
mean,
the problem. The guys with the potential need to do a better job marketing the potential because the world isn't. Who's
but
okay? Okay.
but which one does she have the highest success rate in getting?
The guy who already is established. That's why older men with the resources trump younger men with potential every day.
But he's gonna have more
Like
options.
it, okay, stop right there and breathe. You can't just go past that
True, true.
because one. My potential is here, yeah, and I got $10 million in the bank, and I got this, I got that, I got this, I got that. Again, I'm not disputing potential. It just has to be who's evaluating potential, and that's the problem. Because oftentimes when guys are talking about potential, they're talking about themselves, and it becomes a sales question. How are you selling your potential? I am a good investment long term. By me, I am Google in 2005. Get me before I go up. I am Microsoft before we go public. Granted, but for every Microsoft, there's a micro turf. Whose job is it to market that potential?
It's the public, the or your peers.
No,
Um,
it's the person who wants their potential being evaluated. You go to the bank, you go to angel investors. The amount of money that they're going to give you, loan you, whatever, is directly tied to the potential and how good you make the deal seem. But there still has to be a mix of both. See, it's not either or, it's and. Potential is fine. You keep saying valid potential, but who's doing the validating?
her, she would be.
And that's the problem. Because that's the problem. She's doing the validating. And I agree. I think younger women should look at guys who have potential, but this is why the whole high value thing is so important.
I have one more.
The whole thing about being high value, because if men recognize your potential see, right now we have individuals choosing individuals. No one's signing off on anybody. It used to be that if you came to my house to see my daughter, I had to meet you. My wife would have to meet you. I'd have to know your people. I'm gonna run your background. Then I will have a much better understanding of who you are versus on just your resume. That's valid potential. But right now we don't have that. But the fact of the matter is, what do we use to give women to validate their potential since that's removed? Because that's the way it's been for the longest. Because we as men, you got to understand, we as men, we don't have the same clock they do, right? They got between the
Yeah.
first time of their cycle and a few years and 35 before a lot of things happen. So
Yes.
I agree, potential. But just as I agree, potential, you got to market that potential. You can't just say, I'm in medical school. It has to be something else, active marketing.
Okay. Okay. I
Because, go ahead.
so I was gonna give you a scenario. So let's say there is a 40-year-old well-established physician, and you have a daughter, and you know him. But let's say I'm dating your daughter, and where I am right now, I'll be a physician in 8 months. So, but she really likes me. would you say, hey, don't date this guy, date this 40-year-old guy, know he's already established? Or would you kind of be like, hey, work with
But
this guy, this guy has
that's not the scenario
potential?
I gave you. I said she was seeing them both.
Okay. She's seen them both. Let's put it that way. Date
She's
the
seeing them
40-year-old.
both. I tell her to go with the 40-year-old guy. And you would too if you were a
So,
father.
okay, but so
No,
what
no, no,
about
no, 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 no. And you would too if you were a father. Because potential is great. But are you a sports fan?
yes, sir.
What's your favorite sport?
Basketball?
Basketball?
Yes, sir.
Sam Bowie had a lot of potential. He was drafted high. He was drafted above Michael Jordan, right?
I think I remember that, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Lynn
You don't,
Bibles.
you don't even remember who Sam Bowie is, but you do know who Michael Jordan is. And you didn't watch him play.
Mm-hmm.
Potential is wasted every day. I went to the University of Oklahoma and I saw lots of guys who run fast and lots of potential wasted every day. And if you had a daughter, or I don't want to say if you're a female, but if you were a father and your daughter, the smart bet will go with the guy you can verify what he's done.
Yeah. But where does that put the young guys that are
Competing, I don't care about that. Compete, young man. Wait your turn. How about that? Wait,
okay?
starve, eat scraps. Wait your turn, youngster, or knuckle up and fight. That's what it is. That's the truth. I don't care about you trying to compete. That's the world, right? Well, what
Mhm.
about the young guys? You ain't my son.
I get it. I get it. I get that. Like I understand. Like
But
as a
if it was your
man,
daughter, what would you say? Go to the young guy because he's a young guy? Would you say, no, I want my daughter to have the best outcome? What would you tell your daughter?
I want to have the best outcome. Yeah.
So what would you tell her? The 40-year-old guy who's established, who's already produced, or the guy who's potential?
I mean, yeah, the 40-year-old guy. Yeah,
So now
you're
stop
right.
acting like you wouldn't do the same thing if it wasn't you. That's the problem. See, that's the problem. You're young and you're like, that ain't fair. I don't care about if it's fair. Knuckle up.
True.
Make yourself a better candidate. Show that your potential is better than the outcome. Or if not, buy some lotion.
Nah, don't need
But
that.
that's my point. See, how many what state do you live in?
Well, right now I'm in Florida,
Okay.
Miami.
Miami. Go to Brickell, and I guarantee you'll see a lot of older men with beautiful young women stepping out of cars.
Mm-hmm.
Then you'll see a lot of guys down there who have a lot of potential hanging out with each other. Why? Because the potential is just that, potential. Now, the question is, if I were a young guy today and I had potential, I wouldn't be worrying about dating right now because I know right now I could get a good deal. I wouldn't be worried about a woman until I was at least about 35.
So I'm 28 right now. So you telling me that I shouldn't be
I'm saying
worried?
I wouldn't be worried about a woman. When I was younger, I really didn't want to have my first child until 35 because what y'all are dealing with, we had that without the internet. So y'all didn't get the knowledge we got.
That's true.
So I saw my friends get together, and you know, for the ones that it worked out, um, many it didn't because women were evaluating potential and they evaluated it erroneously. They evaluated potential on sports and entertainment, things like that, versus the accountant or this or that. Um, so I understand the dilemma. I saw the marketplace was unbalanced, and I didn't have a problem with women. Never have really had a problem with women, but you still have issues with them. But if you know you're going to get a better deal once you're established, why not be 35 and have a 23-year-old wife versus be 28 and try to have a wife who's roughly your age? You can provide, but what can you teach her?
That's
She's
true.
your peer,
That's true.
provider, prophet, protector. There needs to be a gap. We used to be all right with age gap dating. The reason we don't like age gap dating so much is because Well, this is too long of something to go into. But there, are you familiar with the? You ever see the movie Malcolm X?
No, no, sir.
Shame on you.
I know Malcolm X, but
Shame on you. The Nation of Islam, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, shout out to the Nation of Islam. He said the proper age for a woman for a man is what? Half the man's age plus 7. Iconic line. So if you're a 40-year-old man, what's the proper age? Half the man's age, 40. That means 20 plus 7.
So 27.
27. So if the man is 60, half the man's age
37.
plus 7. If the man's 28, half the man's age plus 7.
Mm-hmm.
It's a much more agreeable. And if you're 28 and going into medical school and the daughter's 21, if she had a dad, she'd be like, okay, I see he's going to go be an anesthesiologist. Let me see who his people are. Let me talk to his mother, his father. Let me run a background check on this guy. I'd have to sit down and evaluate you. You'd have to convince me why I should say, yeah, you're good for my daughter. You'd have to sell me. And selling me ain't going to be like selling her, right?
That's
but
true.
Then 25, 30 years later, you going to be Dr. So-and-so, and that young knuckle going to come through the door saying, hey, I'm going to law school and something. So forth. You're like, uh-huh. Let me see who your background is. Let me talk to your people. Now talk to me about who you're going to be for mine. And conversely, you tell your boys what? If your boys were going to college, or if your boys were going to trade school or the military, you tell them the dating market ain't fair. Depending on where you go is going to have a great impact upon the caliber, quantity, and opportunity of women you can have. You may have to use delayed gratification. If you're going here, you may have to wait until your late 30s, mid to late 30s. But if you're going into the military or blue collar, where you tend to have a quicker start or whatever, you would have to tell your sons the marketplace because it's not fair. We get in this world what we are. So if you're going to become an anesthesiologist, how are you going to market yourself other than I'll be Dr. So-and-so and I'll be making a lot of money? That's good. But you got to think about the fathers you would need to sit in front of, and the men of the village you would have to convince that you would be good potential.
But every high value man has to start out somewhere. That's what I'm saying.
So what
it'll be
also
better.
okay, if you follow me, I said you can't be high value under 30.
Yeah, you do say that. I agree.
And how many years do you need to be earning that amount of money before you can even scratch the surface high value?
4 years from now,
Right.
I'll be making $400,000.
But then you'll be close to 35.
Yeah.
So you gotta stop, but you're not there yet. See,
but I'm
just
saying,
like no, listen, just like you want women to have patience, you guys need to have patience too. It's not your turn yet. You gotta have patience, but you want it now.
okay, I can see your point. I do have one other concern.
Okay, we gotta hurry up, man. I spent quite a while here.
Okay. So on Monday, you were speaking to an individual, and he was an average man, and he had a girlfriend that was degree, doctorate, and you said they were unequally yoked. And I was, I follow your channel. I study you, and you basically said they were unequally yoked, but you didn't know how she looked, or you didn't know her fit level. So you were kind of valuing her based off her.
Did he
education.
say they were equally yoked?
You said they were unequally yoked.
I said it, and did he agree?
Did he agree? I don't remember if he agreed or not.
He's a musician and an Uber driver, and she was going for a double doctorate. They're unequally yoked. He even admitted they were. Look, they're unequally. What's the issue? Sometimes a man is not okay.
But I'm saying you were saying it based off her educational, like you weren't basing it off of her fitness or her looks or her sublimity or femininity or any of that stuff. Like
what I have is knowledge you don't have. That's what you saw. I do this in real life, and what I can read, you can't.
No, no issue. I was just
No,
maybe.
my point is, yes, off of her double doctorate, but it's the totality of things I'm reading. See, one thing that happens a lot is you guys hear stuff and you assume that you understand what's going on in this mind. You haven't lived and sat in this chair. If you've ever sat down with somebody who's an expert in the game where they can read moves before it's happening, they have a different level, an expert level versus a novice level. So he said they were unequally yoked as well. Any questions I ask is for a reason. And I want you to be honest. If you had a daughter that was going to get, just based off of what you just said, if you had a daughter that was going to get a double doctorate in biochemistry and chemistry or mathematics, something or both science related, right? And he and her boyfriend was an Uber driver and a musician, would you say they were equally yoked?
But I'm saying it has to be based off her looks.
Not, what was the question?
Okay, in a perfect world, yes, but
Okay, no, not a perfect was. So you say I said if you were a father of a daughter going to get a double doctorate in math and biochemistry and mathematics, whatever, and her boyfriend was Uber driver and musician, would they be equally yoked? And you would tell her, well, yeah, daughter, based upon your looks, this is what you can get.
he was an average earner, Mr. Samuels. That's what I'm saying. Like he was an average guy,
He
which
was
is
an
good.
average earner, but
Which
they
is
were on two different socioeconomic class. That has something to do with your. If you guys honestly believe that just because a woman, first of all, I didn't know how she looked. Number one, number two, it doesn't matter. They're in two different socioeconomic classes. They're in two different social groups, and this is something Black people are going to have to get understand real quick.
but
There
that's the
is a
problem,
no,
Kevin.
there's not a problem. The only problem is we're the only group that acts like everybody should be the same. Let me tell you one of the problems we have in Black community.
But that's why the woman said she's a
Oh,
PhD
can you listen?
because she thinks she need like
You
that's why.
don't. No, you need to listen. At 28 years old, this is something I'm going to teach. You need to listen. White people draw lines between their groups. Asian people, Hispanic people, and Middle Eastern folks all do. Black folks, we say we're all the same. We are not. Black men, you can have the president of the United States, well, not the president. You can have the governor and the local D-boy all getting their hair cut at the same barbershop, right?
That's true.
You can have the an entrepreneur or Tyler Perry and the local college kid getting their haircut at the same place, right? Do you think that's how it works in other groups?
No, it doesn't.
No. So in our place, we have a social crunch to where we all say, "I'm a man, he a man." So we eliminate social class, and we act as though social lines don't agree, don't line up. We get mad when we talk about the top 10% or the bourgeoisie or the boule or blah 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 blah. We act like we're all the same, but that is not the world. The world has social stratification, assortative mating. If it all didn't matter, why do you need to go to become an anesthesiologist?
Because we're judged off our education and social economic status. Men, we don't judge women on that. Like this is what like you say. That's what I'm.
Uh, if you think high value men just pick women just because they're beautiful and brainless, you haven't been paying attention.
No, but I'm saying you didn't see how she looked. You just noticed. You just saw that she had a dog degree, and that's what I'm saying. Like that's
I'm
judging
saying
her
that's
based.
what you saw. Again, you're still trying to act like you don't understand what I evaluate on. So why don't you ask the question instead of telling me what I saw?
How can you say they're unequally yoked if you have not seen the other values of the woman besides her education, like her femininity? Is she inspiring? Is she submissive? The way she looks? Is she fit? How can you say she's unequally yoked to an average man if
Because
we are judged differently.
that man himself in that call had put her up on a pedestal above him.
He did. He did.
You just okay. We spent 10 minutes, and you said you saw that. That
But
makes them no breathe. That makes them unequally yoked. True or false?
true, but maybe he
No,
doesn't know.
no, no, no. There's no but. There's no.
Right?
Now you're doing what women do.
I understand.
Just admit that you don't. You may not understand why I said what I said, but even in your own argument, he put her on a pedestal.
You're
That's
right.
unequally yoked. You assumed it was strictly based upon education alone. You were incorrect.
Okay, I respect that. I
And
just
we
want
got to
to.
start. But
I love.
and the fact of the matter is, we have a huge problem in our community. What school do you go to?
Huh?
What college you? What was your undergrad?
University of Houston.
hmm There's a difference between having a University of Houston Cougar degree than having a Yale or University of Texas degree. Those are different.
That's true.
One is worth more on the marketplace. And like it or not, women, while they need to be fit, feminine, friendly, cooperative, submissive, feminine, beautiful, inspirational, high value men don't date empty headed models. Once you get out here, and once you get out here out of the theoretical world, once you get out here and start moving amongst men and start seeing the kind and caliber of woman they pick, you want it all. And what you don't have is a man who is pedestalizing a woman and saying that she's beneath him because he's an average guy and she just has her degree. You're misinterpreting things.
So, a woman that has a doctor, a PhD, but let's say she's not the best looking and she's not
Dip,
submissive.
different situation.
But how's
That's a
that?
different situation. You're trying to take the conversation. Okay, I'm about to end this because now we're going to get into the insane. You're trying to take a situation I talked about on Monday that you misinterpreted because from the get go, if you understood who he was talking about, he pedestalized her. He said she was out of his league. That's the unequally yoked. Don't try to make that anything other than what it is. So to talk about, well, what if a woman has this, this, and that? I don't know what else is going along with that. To me, that's still trying to take this, make a square peg fit in a round hole to make your argument, your point of view make sense. It's okay to be incorrect and just leave it alone.
Thank you, Mr. Samuels. I love your show. I love your content, and you're a huge inspiration. Uh,
Appreciate it.
thank you.
He's 28 and says most women today aren't patient, that they don't want to build with a man, just enjoy the benefits once he's made it. He thinks women should value men for their potential, not their position. But Kevin hit him with the real question. If you had a daughter, would you want her to marry a man with potential but no proof? Exactly. Potential sounds nice until you realize it's a gamble and not everyone can afford to bet their future on it. Kevin also reminded him there's a big difference between being high earning and being high value. One is about money, the other is about mindset. When he said some women's potential might even be higher than men's, Kevin made it clear that's exactly why women should choose wisely, because potential doesn't pay bills or build legacy, progress does.